What if I'm settling? What if I could actually do better? What if I've spent years building a relationship that's never going to become the one I really wanted? Or worse, what if I leave and realize they were the best thing that ever happened to me? And how are you supposed to even know? People always say, when you know, you know. Thanks, that doesn't help at all. Because if you knew, you wouldn't be lying awake wondering. You wouldn't be second guessing every conversation. You wouldn't be wondering why you're not excited like you used to be. You wouldn't feel guilty every time someone more attractive walks past, and you wouldn't keep asking yourself, is this just what relationships become? Or am I ignoring something because I don't want to start over? Nobody talks about these thoughts, not because they don't have them, it's because saying them out loud makes you sound like a terrible partner. Imagine looking at someone who genuinely loves you and saying, I'm questioning us. That's heartbreaking. So instead, people stay quiet. They keep smiling, they keep going on dates, they tell themselves it'll probably pass. And every now and then, usually when everything is finally quiet, those thoughts come back. And it's usually late at night. I don't think asking these questions automatically makes you a bad person. I think it just makes you human. Choosing who to spend the rest of your life with is probably one of the biggest, if not the biggest, decision you'll ever make in your life. Of course, you're going to question it. Of course, you're going to doubt yourself. You're deciding who you'll wake up to every morning, who you'll argue with, who you'll celebrate with, who you'll grow old with, who might become the mother or father of your children. I honestly think it'd be stranger if you don't think deeply about it. The problem isn't asking the question, it's asking the wrong ones. Because I don't think the first question should be, are they the one? I think it should be, who am I becoming because I'm with them? I don't think the best relationships are measured by how intensely they make you feel. I think they're measured by what they slowly bring out of you. Do they make you kinder, more patient, more ambitious? Do you actually like the version of yourself that's showing up every day? Or have you started making yourself smaller just to keep the relationship comfortable? Have you stopped chasing goals because they don't support them? Do you avoid difficult conversations because it's easier than dealing with the argument? Do you feel like you're growing together or are you just standing still? Those are completely different relationships. One of the hardest things to admit is that someone can be a genuinely good person and still not be the right person for you. They're kind, they care about you, they've never cheated, they make time for you, and everyone around you loves them. On paper, they look perfect, but relationships aren't lived on paper. They're lived every single day, and sometimes something just doesn't fit. Not because either of you are bad people, but it's because compatibility is more than finding someone who's nice. It's finding someone whose life actually works with yours. I think we spend too much time asking, do I love them? And not enough time asking, can we actually build a life together? Those aren't the same question, because love can coexist without compatibility. People fall in love with people who live on the other side of the world. People fall in love with people who want completely different futures. And people fall in love with people that don't even want children, even though you know you do. And when they do, love happens surprisingly easily. Building a life together is the hard part. So before you ask yourself if they're the one, stop thinking about the butterflies for a second. Forget the excitement, the honeymoon phase, what your friends think, or even your family. Forget how long you've already been together. Just ask yourself this one question. If nothing changed today, would I still choose this relationship 5 years from now? Because if you're honest with yourself and you say no, ignoring it won't magically turn it into a yes. Now I want to talk about that question. If nothing changed from today, would I still choose this relationship 5 years from now? It's very uncomfortable because your first answer usually isn't the honest one. Your first answer is actually guilt. The things you're thinking are, but they're a good person. We've been together for years. We've already been planning everything together. I don't want to hurt them. None of those answers actually tell you whether the relationship is right. They tell you why leaving would be difficult. And those aren't the same thing. I think one of the easiest traps to fall into is confusing commitment with obligation. Commitment sounds like I choose you. Obligation sounds like I have to stay. Those two sentences might look similar from the outside, but they feel completely different when you're living them. If you're staying because you're scared of wasting the last 5 years, you're no longer choosing the relationship, you're choosing your past. If you're staying because your families are close, or because you've already moved in together, or maybe because it would be too messy, you're not asking whether a relationship is healthy anymore. You're asking whether it's convenient. And convenience has kept a lot of people unhappy for a very long time. Something else you need to pay attention to is consistency. Not the big romantic gestures shit, the small ones. Do they show up when they say they will? Do their actions match their words? Can you rely on them? Because trust isn't built during the big moments. It's built in all those little promises people keep or don't. I've met people who could say the right things to everything. They know exactly what I wanted to hear, but eventually I noticed something. Their words always arrived before their actions, and over time, you stop listening to what someone says. You start watching what they repeatedly do because that's usually what they really are. I also think it's worth asking yourself a question that most people avoid. Would this person make a good parent? Even if you don't want children, so hear me out, because that question isn't really about kids, it's about character. Are they patient? Can they apologize when they're wrong? Do they take responsibility? And are they calm under pressure? Do they think about someone other than themselves? Because those are the same qualities that make someone a good partner. Children just have a way of exposing whether those qualities were actually there. Life gets harder, people get tired, money gets tighter, stress goes up, and that's when you can't hide your character. Then there's something I don't think enough people pay attention to. Does this relationship actually make your future easier to build, or do they make it harder? Not today, but 5 years from now, 10 years from now, or if you have a dream. Do they encourage it, or quietly make you feel guilty every time you choose it? When something good happens to you, are they genuinely happy, or do they somehow make it about themselves? When life gets difficult, do you feel like you've got a teammate or another problem to solve? I don't think your partner has to complete you, but I do think they should make building a life feel lighter, not heavier. A relationship should feel like adding another person to carry the weight, not another person you have to carry yourself. I used to think finding the one meant finding someone who made the butterflies last forever. Now, I'm not sure that's what love is at all. Butterflies are real, they're exciting, but they're also temporary. Eventually, life settles down, the dates become grocery shopping, and the late night phone calls become conversations about bills. You see each other sick, grumpy, exhausted. You stop trying to impress each other every time you see each other. And I actually think that's where love starts to begin. Because there's a quote from Simon Sinek that stayed with me for a long time. It's the idea that love is a verb, not a feeling. A verb is something you do, something you choose. Every single day, even on the days it doesn't feel exciting, you listen, you apologize, you forgive, make time and show up. You put your phone down, make them coffee, ask how their day was, and do the little things that slowly tell another person, I'm still choosing you. I think that's what people mean when they talk about finding the one. Not someone who makes you feel butterflies forever, but someone who keeps choosing to build a life with you. And someone you keep choosing in return. So, how do you know they're the one? I don't think you ever really know with complete certainty. I think you pay attention and you ask the difficult questions. You stop ignoring things that matter and you make sure your values actually fit. You choose someone who helps you become a better person. And then you stop waiting for love to happen. You start doing love. Because the healthiest relationships aren't built by two people who never question anything. They're built by two people who keep choosing each other after the questions have already been asked. And once you found someone worth choosing, there's something nobody really teaches you. How do you give them all the reasons to stay? Because finding a healthy relationship is only half the story. Keeping one, that's where a lot of the work begins.